The U.S. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel says China's behavior in a narrowly averted naval collision in the South China Sea was both unhelpful and irresponsible, warning against incidents that could escalate existing U.S.-Chinese tensions.
What we want to avoid in the South China Sea, the East China Sea, all the conflict surrounding these islands is restraint, responsible actions. And that action by the Chinese cutting in front of their ship 100 yards out in front of the cowpens was not a responsible action. It was unhelpful. It was irresponsible.
China on Wednesday acknowledged an encounter in early December between a Chinese naval vessel and the U.S. warship in the South China Sea. China said its ship was conducting normal patrols when it encountered the U.S. missile cruiser, and its official news agency accused the U.S. of deliberate provocative behavior. But U.S. officials depicted the event differently. They said the U.S. ship was forced to take evasive action to avoid collision. The incident came amid tensions after China established an air defense identification zone over a swath of the East China Seas. Experts have called the incident the most serious U.S.-Chinese maritime encounter in the disputed South China Sea since 2009.
What we don't want is some miscalculation here to occur. And when you have a cowpens issue, that's the kind of thing that's very incendiary, that could be a trigger or a spark that could set off some eventual miscalculation.
Could you please go into some detail about those concerns?
And going now to Thailand, more than 3,000 anti-government protesters gathered in Bangkok in their campaign to press Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra to step down ahead of a planned mass rally over the weekend. Yingluck called a snap election last week when the protests reached their height. She remains caretaker premier until the February 2 vote, but has refused to push back the date to allow the drawing up of political reforms demanded by the protesters. Sunday's rally is expected to draw huge numbers. And South Korea on Thursday started the excavation of the remains of Chinese volunteer soldiers killed in the 1950-53 Korean War. Seoul and Beijing reached an agreement earlier this month. According to a senior ministry official of South Korea, the two sides agreed to return the bodies based on the agreed-upon schedule under humanitarian grounds. The Chinese People's Volunteers, or CPV, were involved in the Korean War from October 25, 1950, about 4 months after the conflict broke out, as they tried to help the people of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea resist U.S. aggression.